Hi, everyone. My name is Lydia Martinez. I am the owner of Elle Marketing and Events, and today I am here with Cheryl Hunt. Cheryl is the newest member of the Elle Marketing team, and I am so excited to have you here today, Cheryl. How are you?
Thank you. I'm so good. I am so excited to be here. I'm excited to be on this live with you, and I'm so excited to be on the team. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Cheryl has been working with us for about 6 weeks now?
Mhm.
And but interestingly, we started talking clear back in December.
Mhm.
And Cheryl, you did one of the things that made me admire you so much. Um, so tell the story really quickly of just how we got connected.
Yeah. So originally we met by you coming to some of my wine, women, and business events. It's a networking group I created a little over 5 years ago, and during pre-COVID times, I was having monthly networking events. And actually, it's so great that one of the pictures on my Facebook business page is a group shot, but you and I are in that photo. So I feel like that was like, you know, maybe it was everything was meant to be,
Yeah,
right?
good little foretelling of things to come.
Yeah. And so through COVID, you've talked actually about how you have had to shift your business. And one of the things that you did was start doing these videos like this with little you started introducing your team. And as I was watching those videos, I got to know more about you and more about your business. And I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of that team. And so the more I thought about it, and then I was kind of, and again, just like a lot of us during COVID, we had to make shifts and adjustments for our income and our businesses. And so I was kind of like thinking that I quote unquote needed to go find a business development job for someone else while I was trying to still build my own business. And then one of your videos popped up, and I thought, oh my gosh, no, I want to be a part of Lydia's team. So it was so great because I reached out to you and you were so gracious. I just said, hey, I would love to chat with you. Do you have time? And I didn't even tell you why. You didn't ask why. And you just said, yeah, here's some time on my calendar. Let's schedule it. I'd love to talk with you. So we get on the phone, and I basically tell you everything that I've just said, that I've really admired watching your company and meeting everyone via the live videos and everything. And I was like, and I'd love to be a part of your team.
It was like right during the holidays. Like it was mid-December, and granted holidays were so different this year, but it was mid-December, and I had it in my brain that I needed to add somebody to my team. But I was thinking like further down the road. And so it was a surprise, but it was also like incredibly great timing because I already had that thought like floating in my brain. And so talk about like kismet, because when you reached out, it was like the light bulb went on. And I was like, oh, this is probably the solution that I've been looking for. And it fell in my virtual lap.
And I thought, oh my gosh, this is all the coaching that I've ever listened to, all the, self-help books on my audible.com. Like if you want something, you can manifest it. But manifesting isn't just thinking about it, it's taking action, right? Like I could have thought that I wanted to be on your team for a couple of years, but it was the action of making that call and just being willing to ask you if there was a spot that I could fill.
Yeah.
And during that conversation, that first conversation we had, I remember when I said that, and then there was like this pause in the conversation, and then I realized that I probably needed to fill you in on my background. I was like, other than Wine Women in Business, you might not know what my background is. And I have a background in, 25 plus years of business development and client relations, and which is exactly what you were looking for. So I just it's so beautiful. Such a I'm so glad that it worked out the way it did. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that I love, and I've noticed time after time in business, is that very often when the time is right, when the timing is right, when the people are right, it somehow comes together and it feels easy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the ways that you just know, okay, this was something that was supposed to happen. The timing of this is right. And it's happened to me so many times in life and in business that I'm just convinced it is truly a thing.
Yeah.
And so, so from my end, I get that call from you. And we're talking through it, and we're talking, you're right. I had only met you kind of through the networking group. I'd been 2 or 3 times. I knew people that knew you quite well. And one of the other things that I thought was very interesting is that after you and I talked, you also did a little bit of vetting of your own. So it wasn't just a one-way street. I know that you took a moment and you talked to some of my clients and you talked to some of my team.
Right. Yeah.
I actually admire a great deal because it means that not just like who I am in these videos and what I'm presenting here. Like, oh yeah, I actually like do those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was so great too, because I do have the 2 people that I mainly reached out to. I know them more than I knew you, and they've been working with you for some time. And what was so great about that is the impression that I had of you was fully supported by what they said about you, which was so great. Yeah.
Which was delightful for me too. And when you told me that, like, it almost made me start crying because you're like, oh, I put all these things out there. I try to be as authentic and real and genuine and hardworking and supportive of people as possible. And it felt so good to know that, oh yeah, that thing that you're trying to do, other people recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not perfect. Nobody is. I've got my areas of opportunity. I'll be the first one to tell you what they are quite often. But that was something that I was really happy about because I've spent 5 years running Elle Marketing, trying to build that level of culture and support and community, and a company that is a win-win for all the people that are a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that I've, had the opportunity to be behind the scenes a bit, on team calls and whatnot, I can 100% say that it runs deep and it runs through everything you do, which is just such a testament to who you are. You're so true to yourself and what you're trying to build. It's really, I feel so grateful to be a part of this team.
And the other thing, Cheryl, that I admired about you when we talked is I was like, this is interesting. Let me think about it. Can we talk again in a couple of weeks? And you absolutely gave me space to do that. And then once we did talk again, I said, Cheryl, I want to be sure that we have a good experience right from the beginning. I am in the midst of something big right now. I need a little bit of time. Can you give me time? And then we will bring you on.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciated that you gave me that time and space and that you were willing to essentially wait for that. And that meant a lot to me as well. That showed me your character, that you value being at the right spot And if you have to wait for that just a little bit, that's better than any other thing.
Yeah.
So I admired that and appreciated that. Well, it gave me space to be honest and transparent about my bandwidth and capabilities. So that was appreciated as well. So Cheryl, one of the other things that I love about you is, one, you run this amazing working group of just amazing women. That is super, super cool. We'll touch on that in a moment.
Yeah.
But the other amazing thing about you is you do own your own business. And I think it's worth you talking a little bit about that business, because I think it is so incredibly cool.
Well, I started this business during COVID. So I've been roller skating really for my entire life. My mom basically said about the time I started walking, I was putting on my brother's roller skates, and he's 10 years older than me. So these skates were, like far too big, and I would put them on and just skate up and down the hall, and so I don't ever remember not being able to roller skate, right? And then we started, eventually in my elementary school years, we started going to roller skating the rink on Friday and Saturday night as a family. And then we started going to a different rink, and we saw people who were better skaters. And we started asking, how are they getting so good? Well, they were taking lessons. So we started taking group lessons, and then we saw someone else who could do spins, and we thought, well, oh my gosh, well, how are they doing that? Well, they're taking private lessons. And so we started taking private lessons and going into competition, and that turned into 10 years of my life of training in roller skating and going into competition. And most people don't even know that kind of roller skating exists. So I was basically doing like figure skating on ice that you see in the Olympics. I was doing it on quad roller skates, axles, double sow cows, double toe loops, camels, sit spins, all that. And yeah. So it's super fun, and we, of course, we always hope that it would make it into the Olympics. It still hasn't. Maybe with this resurgence of roller skating that has happened in the past handful of years, maybe we'll get it. But in the meantime, a couple of years ago, on Facebook, there was this roller skating group, and I got involved. I got in the group, and I was just amazed. There were probably more than 14,000 people in this group worldwide. And what I was seeing is that all these people from all these places loved roller skating as much as I do. And I just didn't have that growing up. Like, I was so into roller skating, and my friends would go on Friday night, and I was at the rink 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, right? So it, very different level. And I had every little figurine that we could find that had roller skates on it, from Care Bears to, whatever.
I love it.
Yeah. So as I was watching this group, I was just like falling in love with how in love everyone was with roller skating. Then COVID hit, and I was watching the pattern in this group of people ordering skates. Everything was on back order because manufacturing facilities had shut down. And then, just all the things that happened with COVID. Most outdoor activity equipment was sold out. Bicycles, kayaks, all the things. So anyway, I saw this opportunity to purchase hundreds, an untold number at the time, but hundreds of used rental roller skates. They were in Kansas. I worked out this deal. I was able to invest half of the amount of money that the woman wanted for all these skates. I found someone else who was willing to go in on the other half. I orchestrated this deal between 3 people who didn't know each other. But I just knew that I wanted these skates. And so there may be a pattern of me going after things, you know, that I want.
I'm seeing the pattern. I like it. I like it.
So my initial thought was people can't get roller skates. If I can get these skates, I can resell them. And I was thinking of it as a business to resell them for a profit, but they can pay less money for the skates and get them in a week instead of 4 months, right? Well, so big long story on how I got the skates. I'll skip over that, but it was an ordeal, to say the least. But they then, by the time I got them home, it was an untold number of skates. I got them home and counted them as I was putting them into my garage, and it's over 500 pairs of skates,
That is
which
insane.
it's insane. No, it's totally insane. Not all of them are usable. A lot of them, the leather doesn't work or the pairs don't match up, but it's still a lot of skates.
Yeah.
And but as I was developing this, you know, putting the deal together and waiting to go get the skates, all of a sudden one day I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to sell all these skates. If I do, then my business is done.
Right.
And so I thought, oh my gosh, I what I really want to do is have a fleet of rental skates to rent them out for private parties. And so
I love that you call it a fleet, by the way. That feels very accurate.
Totally. I need a better vehicle to transport the fleet than in the back of my 4Runner, but one step at a time, right? Yeah. So as last fall, I was starting to teach lessons. I was starting to rent them out for private parties. And then COVID restrictions got tighter. And we went from having 50 people together to only 10 and not outside of your family. And so that part of the business had to be put on hold. But the lesson portion where I'm teaching people how to roller skate or how to get better at roller skating, which was just this small little add-on that I didn't think was my main business, has become my main business. So I'm teaching lessons 3 nights a week, sometimes 4 nights a week, depending. And it's so great. I taught lessons last night, and I'll tell you, it is more rewarding than I ever imagined it would be to see someone try something. I give them coaching. If they don't quite get it, I'll break it down more. And even if I have to break it down 3 or 4 times to a more basic portion of the element that they're trying to do. And then once they get it, I literally am excited as they are. Like, I'm like hooping and hollering, and it's so great. I just love seeing their faces light up. I love seeing, and I have little kids from like 4. I have some kids like 4 to 9 years old, and they're super cute. But mostly adults, you know, and people who used to roller skate as kids and they want to do it again, or they never roller skated and they just want to be a part of it. So yeah.
One of the things that I love, Cheryl, is so many people this past year have realized that they need to add an element of fun back into their lives. But fun that isn't just sitting in front of my TV and I'm watching something. It's fun that is active, that feels playful, but it's also a little bit challenging or something new. And that, I think, is one of the most phenomenal things that has happened in the past year. And I love that you're able to provide that.
Yeah. And that's, so many people come to class and say, okay, I saw this video on TikTok. I want to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we can get you there. Usually it's a more, you know, like upper intermediate move.
Yeah.
We can totally do that. Let's do the 5 other moves that will, you know, learn those.
There. Yeah. Perfect. Well, Cheryl, I just want to officially, publicly welcome you to the Elle Marketing team. We're so glad that you're here. We're so glad that you are a part of what we're doing. So Cheryl's role really is that client relations manager. And so very often she's going to be the first person that's talking to new people as they're kind of looking into what they need. in a marketing agency. She's going to be talking people through that. And she's going to be helping me come up with great solutions based on the needs. Because one thing that we don't do here is we don't do cookie cutter quotes. Like, we are not just saying one size fits all. Here's what you get. We do customized quotes for every single and customized proposals for every single person that comes through our virtual doors, because every business is different. Every story is different. And so Cheryl is helping me with that. And then some of that ongoing like client relations stuff, where as we've grown, I have a little bit less time to do that, but I still want to make sure that our clients have a phenomenal experience and a great relationship with our entire team. So that's something else that, Cheryl's going to be available to help with. So thank you, Cheryl, for being here with me today. Thank you for sharing your passion with us. And again, you'll be, for those that are following Elle Marketing, you're going to be seeing a lot more of Cheryl as she grows with the business. So thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great day.